Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for the better part of about 6 years. Am I falling behind in life? I guess just some backstory about me first. So I graduated from high school in 2013 from a small town of about 14,000 called Kingsland, Georgia. Like everyone else that graduated around the same time as me, I wanted nothing more than to get out of that small town, so I went to college. This brought me to Kennesaw, Georgia, which is just a short drive outside of Atlanta. After being miserable, stuck in a small town, I thought I would be happy there, but I wasn't. I was just as miserable. So from there, I kept telling myself that when I got out of college, things would be better, but I couldn't wait all 4 years, so I dropped out after just under 2. While sitting around working a dead-end job, I was still unhappy. I was making enough to get by, but all I did in my free time really was drink. So being from a military family, it just made the most sense to me to join because I thought the money would be good and it might give me some direction in my life. Shortly after joining, I realized that that really wasn't the case. Most people's idea of how life should go looks something like this when they finish high school. They go from high school, and then they go to college, and then maybe after college, they get a job. And then after they get a job, maybe they meet a girl or a guy, depending. And then they decide to get married, and then they get a house together. Maybe, they have some kids, and then they get a bigger house, and then they grow old together and retire and, eventually die. But for a lot of people, this is like the general concept of the good life. But that's not what you need to measure yourself against. What if you're more like my dad, who dropped out of high school, and then from there he went and got a job, and then from there he met a girl, but this girl already had her own kid, but then they got married, and then they had some of their own kids, and then they got a house together, and then they kept working hard. My dad went back to college, he kept working at his job, and then he went back to college again and got his master's degree, and from there he circled back around, and now they have a nice awesome house, and eventually they will grow old, and my dad plans on dying by driving his sports car too fast and not making a turn. And for them, that's the good life. Or what if you're like my brother? He finished high school and he didn't want to go to college, so he went and got a job. While he was working, he met a girl. Then they had kids. Then they got married. And then he had to find a better job so they could afford a house. And now he's just going to continue working until he gets out of the Navy and finds a different job, and then hopefully goes from there, and who knows where that's going to go. Or yet still, what if you're something like this? What if you finished high school and you went to college and then you realized that college sucks? So from there, you had no idea what to do, so you joined the Navy and you had no idea what you were really doing with your life for a while. And then you found filmmaking and realized that you wanted to make films that help people. And what if while you were making those films that help people, you found that this was your true passion, and from there, you wanted to keep doing it for as long as you could because it was still making you happy, and then somewhere along the way, you found a way to make money with it. So then you could keep doing it, and you could keep helping people in as many ways as possible, and from there, the sky's the limit. So, my point here is this. Your life isn't measured by the achievements of others, and right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I mean, think about it. People on the East Coast don't talk about people on the West Coast like all those lazy people just need to get off their ass. Just like you and every other person, you're operating in your own time zone. And if it weren't for all those days and weeks and months that I was kind of miserable, I don't think I ever would have pushed to find something better for myself. When I take the time to stop and think about it, I'm really lucky. I'm in no debt, I'm surrounded by wonderful, supportive people. I live a blessed life and I'm talented at something that makes me really, really happy. I mean, is there a better way to measure life than that? So this is just a friendly reminder. Just because your cousin or your friend got married doesn't mean you have to. You're running your own race. But if that's what would make you happy, then go get married. Or if you want to go chase your dream job solo for another decade, then go do that. Or maybe you go to work for that nonprofit that you really love and you think is making a huge difference in the world. Or maybe you just go buy a van and you're a drifter for a while until you start missing home. Or maybe for just one day you come to a park and you do absolutely nothing. I think that social media is a big part of why we so constantly compare ourselves to other people and their lives and their successes, probably more so than they did in the past. You have to realize and come to terms with the fact that things are going to keep evolving and we will never be less connected to each other than we are right now. You have to learn to be comfortable with where you are in life, and I promise you, you're in the right spot. So if you got anything out of this video, or maybe you have a kid that's in high school or in their 20s around my age, then share this with them. Even with a really supportive group of friends and family, it took me a long time to come to terms with this. Maybe seeing that a lot of other people share this feeling of falling behind will help them realize that it's okay. Thanks for sticking around, and I mean, it feels really good to finally get this story out. It's been like 6 years in the making. So I finally feel like I'm starting to come out the other side. No matter where I am in life compared to friends from home or the people around me, it just doesn't matter.